Keith Barry, how the hell are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Yes, as you can see, I'm here in my log cabin in my back garden, and yeah, life is good at the moment. Not too bad.
Well, you're with us this evening, Drogheda Motor Show, celebrating 10 years, and here we are in a whole new world, doing this in a totally different way. Tell me this, your first car, what was it?
Well, I tell you what, you guessed what it was. What do you think my first car was, Jerry?
Ford Capri.
No, it was actually a Citroen ZX, would you believe? A Navy Citroen ZX. I remember it well. I remember trying to do my hill starts on it, and my dad teaching me in that car and cutting out on Bunkers Hill in Waterford every single time. And it was the only time I think I ever remember really arguing with my dad. But it was a Citroen ZX.
My, oh my, I'd never have put Keith Barry in that to start with. But look, we all started. Mine was a Mini, SIY 211. I can even remember the registration today, and it was a little purple thing. My mother called it the Sputnik. She was afraid we'd be killed in it. You know, that type of thing.
Fancier than mine, bit fancier than my Citroen.
Anyway, a Citroen to start, and I'm sure you've had many cars through the years. What are you driving today?
So I work with Kiri's Motors down there in Cork, and I want to give them a shout out, and I'll tell you why. They have automatically adapted to this whole COVID scenario. You want to see the setup. People should go online and have a look at their setup, because I know people from the motor industry are watching. Look at their setup with regards to sanitization and all these. They've got all these crazy gizmos down there in Cork. And ultimately, I'm now in a Hyundai Santa Fe, and I love it. And I'll tell you why. Because of what we do, Jerry, which is fishing. So I need a big car with a big boot space. And ultimately, the Hyundai Santa Fe, I can put all my fishing gear in it. I was in it this morning. I had 3 rods in there. I had 5 bags in the back. It's got a big boot space, very comfy as well. It's got heating in the steering wheel, Jerry. So in the middle of winter, when you're freezing cold, I've never had a car with heating in the steering wheel. So I love it. So yeah, I'm in a Hyundai Santa Fe at the moment.
So regardless of family or herself or anybody in the house, fishing is the thing that says this car is the ideal car for Keith Barry.
Yeah, see, I've had a couple of nice cars in the past, like fancy cars, we'll say,
yeah,
but they've not been very practical. So for example, I was in a Subaru Legacy, a gold one. So that was a bit flashy now, right? So I was driving around a Subaru Legacy for a couple of years, and ultimately that actually saved my life, because that was the one that I was in a massive car accident in, coming back from a funeral up in Belfast. So I was in a head-on car collision in the Subaru Legacy, and it crumpled like a crisp packet, but I think it was designed to do that. It ultimately saved my life. The airbags went off, so and I looked into it. The safety features are actually really good in that car. But after that accident, I think I just got practical about it, because we ended up having kids shortly after that accident, and hence these days I'm driving more practical automobiles rather than the fancy ones,
And we have to say that Hyundai Santa Fe is a fine car, fine family car as well. Yeah. If you had the dream car, the one, you talk about fishing, you talk about family, practicality, whatever, what would be your dream automobile that you'd love to have, no expense spared?
Do you know what? The bit of craziness in me, I'd like a Hummer. One of those big Hummers.
Yes.
Yeah. I think didn't Keane Healy have one of those for a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken? I think he was one of the only people in Ireland with one. But I'd love a Hummer, because I just find it's a real chunky, big yoke, as I call it down in Waterford. That's what we'd say. But I love it. So I think a Hummer would be really interesting. It's like a lot of people would say a Lotus or a Porsche or whatever. But I think for me, I could see myself going around a Hummer up high and just spinning around in that,
When you think about travel, and you travel a lot internationally, restricted, of course, at the minute, and the technology we're on this evening, facilitating a whole new aspect and vista in your career. But, within Ireland itself, and you travel around Ireland, you've been in the Northeast many times with your shows. What about motoring yesterday and today, the comparisons when you're out on the roads? Any thoughts on that?
It's interesting. I'm actually very surprised at the amount of traffic that is on the roads. Now, I know ultimately when you go into Dublin city centre, there's not the volume of traffic going in there. But last Sunday, I drove somewhere. I can't remember. I had somewhere to go last Sunday. Oh, I know what it was. I was just with the kids, and we hadn't been out in a long time. So I went over and visited my parents. And after that, we just scooted down to Kilcool in Wicklow. And it was a Sunday evening. So it wasn't like everybody would have been on the way to the beach. But on Sunday evening at like 4:30, there was just volumes of traffic. And when I say volumes, I mean the M50 was at a standstill and there's no accidents or anything. So it's very interesting what way the traffic will go with this whole thing, because you would think that there's going to be less, but I don't know. I think a lot of people will be forced to drive because of, the public transport issues that are arising now. And, I think it could actually be a problem down the line that we might end up having a lot more traffic on the roads. And I don't know how car sales are. I actually have no idea. But I think as time goes on, I think certain people will probably actually be forced to buy cars, whereas before they might have used public transport.
The boys and girls in the industry in the Northeast here around Drogheda are delighted to hear those words. That's what they want to hear. But on a serious note, we do know, and Keith, as well, the importance of our local car dealerships, the employment they give to people. And at this time, jobs, we need people back working, and as many as possible.
Well, I think there's an issue there. And I spoke with somebody yesterday, a friend of mine, Paul Sheeran. He's a very well-known jeweler in Dublin City Centre. And I was in Dublin for work yesterday. And luckily, all my work is virtual, but I had to go into a studio yesterday. And I noticed obviously how quiet Dublin was. And I spoke with him about it. And he said, he actually thinks a lot of people are nervous to go back to work, which is natural because of the environment that we're in. But you're absolutely right. I think when the time is right and when it's safe to do so, people should go back to work.
We'll finish, will we? No, we can't finish with Keith Barry on this 10th anniversary of the Drogheda Motor Show without a little bit of magic. So normally, like you and I are face-to-face in studio and you work your magic with me, but here we are on a Zoom call this evening. What are you going to do?
So I've prepared a little envelope here, and this is the first time we've ever done anything virtually, but I have a little envelope. You can see it's sealed there, Jerry. And look, if you were here, I'd hand this to you, obviously, and you'd examine it. But you can see there's no way in, no way out. And normally you would hold on to this, but I'll keep it in full view so you know that nothing can get in, nothing can get out. So here's the idea, Jerry. I'm going to try and influence you to say something. Your job is to stop me, okay? So I'm going to give you a word. And when I give you this word, I want you to name any word that has no association with the word that I give you. So the idea is that, for example, if I said apple to you a moment ago, your mind automatically goes to orange, right? So I don't want you to do that, though. When I say a word to you, think the most random word you can that has nothing to do with the word that I give you. Okay? So the word I'm going to give to you is motor.
Cow.
Cow. Like as in a moo cow. Just want to clear this. Now, do you think, now I want you to be absolutely honest, do you think there's any possible way I could have influenced you to say cow by me saying motor? Do you think that's possible at all?
No, I did what you said to me. You said to me, think of something that's absolutely no association with the word I have said. And I think cow's a fair one, isn't it? When you mention motor, it's a little bit...
So you would think there's no way I could have influenced you, right?
No.
Look, my hands are empty. I want you to know that. Look, there's nothing in my hands, okay? Look, inside here, okay, if I get this open, I want you to see this. Can you see that, Jerry? Inside there, there's a piece of paper. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take it out, fingertip stuff. Normally you would take this out, of course, but I have to do it for you here. Let's get the piece of paper all the way out. There we go. And if I open this up, Jerry, I want you to read out loud exactly what it says for everybody watching and, of course, listening.
I will influence Jerry to say... cow. All I can say is, holy cow, Keith Barry. How do you do it?
Very well, but thanks for asking.
Well, that's magic. It really is. And you know me, I just love you and what you do. And I'm a real enthusiast for magic all my life. And God Almighty, how do you do this stuff? You're an incredible...
Here's another quick thing, Jerry.
All right, go on. We've time for another one. Go ahead.
One quick thing. Oh, and just to let people know, during COVID, during the lockdown, I actually wrote an ebook for the power of the subconscious mind. If people want to get that ebook, it's a free ebook, and it is about how to program your subconscious mind to optimize peak performance. Just go onto my website, keithbarry.com/ebook, and you can get the ebook for free. But for now, Jerry, I've got a deck of cards. It's got a big black X on it. Now, that X is going to become important in a moment's time, okay? And it's very important because we're doing this virtually. And I'll tell you why. Because a couple of hours ago, I reversed one card in the deck. It's going the wrong way. It's upside down. I'm going to get that inside your head. 3 seconds, 2, 1. Name any card you want out loud. Go ahead.
Can I say it out loud?
Yeah.
Jack of Hearts.
The Jack of Hearts. Isn't that interesting now? Because look, I told you this X would become important, and it is important. There's nothing else inside the box. Because I destroyed a deck of cards just for you and just for the Motor Show. Now look, if I go through this deck slowly, Jerry, you can see I really did destroy each and every card. There's an X going through all of the cards. Can you see that, Jerry? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
There's one card that I saved. It's going the wrong way. I only saved one card, Jerry, and it is the Jack of Hearts.
Why are you my favorite late lunch guest of all time?
Well, thanks very much. You know me, I love going on your show as well. So the feeling is mutual, as they say.
Well, Keith Barry, that is magic. It really is.
Thanks so much.
Good man yourself. Thanks a million, Keith Barry. Appreciate it.
Thanks.